Hello YouTube, it's Austin from Parody Cubes, and today I am going to show you how I solve the X cube. Now I couldn't find like any decent tutorials online, so I am going to try and help you learn how to solve this cube as easily and quickly as possible. Now I've gotten my solves down to around 5 minutes and 40 seconds, and that seems pretty good. So the method I'm going to be using is unlike the other tutorial I have seen, where you try to pair these edges up like these and pair them like 5 by 5 edges and then do algorithms in the middle slice like that, like an H-perm or something. But what I'm going to do is solve it like a 5 by 5 supercube. Now, I don't know if anybody else has come up with this method. They probably have, but this is just how I figure out how to solve it. So the first thing we want to do is just scramble it up. We want to do a bunch of face turns and keep it in cuboid mode. Like this, you just turn it as a 3 by 3 and it will shapeshift. But I'm sure by now that I really don't need to go over this because, well, you probably already have it scrambled and that's why you're looking at the tutorial. So, now that you have your cube scrambled, there are a couple steps. Now the first step I do is solve it like a 3 by 3. And that will get it into its non-shapeshifted form. And then I solve one center. Then I solve the next center, and the first center is really easy. The second center is a little trickier. Then the third center, I think, is personally the hardest. And then the fourth one, we can just apply A-perms, T-perms, and some algorithms that you would learn from solving other cuboids like a 3 by 3 by 2. Now, if you don't know how to solve a 3 by 3 by 2, I will still tell you the algorithms, but these are the those 3 by 3 by 2 algorithms that I'm going to be using are from Crazy Bad Cuber's tutorial. So let's get on with it. The first thing you want to do is just find these little squares. Just don't pay attention to any outside layers. You just want to look at the cube with like this, except not with the top and bottom layers. You wanted to look at it like a 3 by 3. So this would be an edge, and it doesn't really matter where you put the edges. And see, I already almost have a cross, but see, you want to make a cross. This is basic 3 by 3 stuff here. And then you just want to get the corners in, which is really easy. Again, basic 3 by 3 stuff. Really, really basic. So then, after you've got the white face, you want to get the yellow edges. So you don't want to have edges that have 2 pieces on them on the top layer. You want it so the edges with only 1 piece connected to them, like this. Sorry about that. I just, my camera kind of fell off the stand. Now, here was now, as I was saying, you want the edges with the yellow edges, where one side is yellow and only one is connected to it, to be in the top layer. So right now, I'm pretty lucky. I have 3 yellow edges in the top. Now, this is either a bad scramble or I am just getting pretty lucky. Now, so what you want to do is just see that this edge is going to come on top. So you want to just use an algorithm to get it on top. I'm just going to use the beginner's method. I normally use a different one, but I'm just going to use that for the sake of it. Now, sometimes your edge could be inserted wrong, like if you brought it out and it was facing a different direction, like that. And see, you'd have edge parity. But all you have to do is do the algorithm you would normally do from the beginner's method, which I'm sure you all know, it's also used in Frederick, and put it in a slot, and then just use the edge you get to take it out. So it's just the same algorithm you usually do. U, R, U prime, R prime, then rotate it to the right, U prime, L prime, U, L. And see, that would get this in here. And then you just bring the edge up that you brought in, and then you do that same algorithm again to flip it. Now there are algorithms to flip it, and normally I would just do that, but it's a lot easier to remember that. So now you just do your OLL, which I think I got a 2 look. So yeah, and then your cube is back in its normal form. So you've seen the first part. Now you need to do the second part. The second part is pairing up the centers. Now, how are we going to pair them up? Just like a 5x5 super cube. Now, you want to look for blocks like this. See, they're together. And you want to look at what color is facing the side that the actual center is on. So not this color, which would be green, but this color, orange, because it's on blue. And you see that orange is here, with yellow across from it and green on top. So with the opposite color, the opposite corner, that would be over here, would be orange, and then the same color here, green, then white. So we want to find orange, green, white. And it's right here. So all you want to do is just look at how this is oriented. So it needs to be on the left top slot. So you put the corner in the left top slot, and then just bring it down so it's right here. Now all you have to do is bring it up to its center. What is that? Orange. Now orange is right here in the center. Now the second part is easier. You see that you could either have yellow and white, or, as it just so happens, we need to rotate ours like this. So you'd never want them horizontal, you always want them vertical. So we need to find orange and white and orange and yellow. Now here's orange and white, and orange and yellow is right here. So you want to bring orange and yellow on the left, and orange and white is already on the right, but you'd want to bring it on the right and just bring it up. See how they're together like a pair? And then you want to find the orange center and bring that middle layer up to it. And then you want to see yellow is facing up, so you put yellow on the top and put yellow down. And now you just have to make the last bar in your first center. So here you've got the edge, and you want to bring it up to another layer because the corners aren't here. So now that it's here, it's near the corners. So you want to look at one corner, and this has orange, so you want to see what color this is, and that's blue. And you want to see, how could I get blue so it's going up top if you put the blue here? I could move it like this, and then I could just move it like that. Just return it so it's out of the way, then bring it back down. And I do the same thing with this corner. Just turn it so it can get into a slot up here, then bring it over, rotate it away, then bring it back down, and then just bring it into position, and you've completed one center. So you've completed one center on the X cube. Now what do? This is the second center. I'm just going to look for any random center, and I see blue because it already has the middle part completed. Yellow and white. That's white and that's yellow. It's hard to see through the camera, but now you just have to find the corners and the edges. So here's how I would do it. First, I would see that yellow's on top, so I'd find the yellow and blue corner. Here it is. So I would just bring it up and get it out of the way. Then I would want it to get right here, so it makes a bar, so I would bring it out of the way, bring that center up, bring it into position to go in, and down. Now I need to find the other blue and yellow corner, which is right here. So I want to put it up into position, and then I want to move it away, bring it up the position, then move it back in, and move that piece down. So now we want to do the middle layer, which would be blue and red and blue and orange. So I just want to bring that up because it's there, so it's really simple. I just do an M prime, then a U prime, then an M. And that would get it, so these are here, but we want them across from each other so we can bring them in right here. So what I do is just find a place where there's nothing completed. I could use here or here, so I'll just bring this down, move this to the left, and bring it up. And that would make a bar. So then I just bring the blue center up to match this, and then I see what color this is. It's red. And then I would bring the blue over and back down. Sorry. I would put red on top, and then I'd bring it back down. And that would make it so the second center is almost done. Now this, I got really lucky with that. This is here. This normally doesn't happen. So I'm going to show you what happens when you get this, which you'll need later on. What I do for this is I just see it needs to go up here, but that's not what we normally do. We need to do. So here's what we really need to do. We need to put it in this slot so that if we rotate this like this, it will come down into it. So here's what we do. Bring it up, rotate it to the left so it won't disrupt this, then bring it down, and that makes a bar. So then you can just insert it like we've been inserting them. Now, if you don't have that, you can just pursue it normally, and also if it's on the bottom, you can do the same thing. But I'm sure I don't need to show you how it would happen if an edge weren't in there, because it's the same as we've been doing. So what you do is just I'll put it on the bottom. Now this time, instead you're going to put it on the top, so white's up, and when you rotate this, white will be up on the edge. So just bring it up, move it away, and bring it down. And then you can insert it and do the same thing we did with the other edge. Bring it up, move it over, bring it down, insert it. So now you've completed 2 centers. All you need to do is the last 2 centers, which I find is the easiest step. So, now you've got 2 centers. What do you do for the last center? First, I look for anything that looks close to completed. And I see these are pretty close to completed. And I am like, these 2 corners have headlights, and here's matching colors. So I'm going to find the edge that goes with it. It would be this edge. So I'm going to bring it up to get it out of that center and onto another one. Just move it away and back down. So M prime, U prime, M. Then I see the headlights are red, so I want to get that red and green edge in up here, so when I move it up, it'll be in that same center. So I would just move it up to match these up, and then move that piece away, and move the layer back down. So now I need the middle. That would be green and yellow, and green and white. Green and white is right here, so I would just bring it up, move it away, and bring it down. Now, I got lucky again because they're just matched up. Now, if you didn't and they were somehow like this, it's real easy. You just bring it up and then move it away and bring it down. And if it's like this, it's really simple again. If they're across from each other, all you do is just bring it down in here like you would inserting an F2L pair or something. And then you would just move that away, bring it up, bring it over, and there you have it across. So then you would bring this center piece up, the middle layer, and then you see white is on top on this corner and white is here. So you'd bring white up and then you'd bring it back down. Now this is the trickiest part of this center. It's the last edges and corners. So what you need to do is just get the edge in. It's really easy. You just bring this layer up, put the edge in the place it needs to be, and bring it down. And the edge will either be in here or in here, so there's no other cases. Now, that thing I showed you before, if you have an edge in, this can apply to right here, and it will. So you see that this is in the top, and this needs to be in the top too. So you bring it down, so when you rotate this, it will be able to come down. So just bring it up, move it over, bring it down, and then just insert it. Now, you can also have the other corner where this one needs to be inserted, but that is just the same exact thing, only mirrored, but not with this hand. It's basically almost the same thing, but there's two ways you could do it. You could do it the way I showed you before, or you could just bring it up, move the piece to the bottom, and then do the same exact thing. So if you have this piece inserted where it's not right like this and it needs to go in the bottom, all you have to do is bring this piece up, and then you can do the same thing. So now, oh, I got really lucky again, headlights. But now all we have to do is finish the last center. Now I figured out that I could just do this with PLLs. So there's two PLLs that I would recommend using for this, and most people know the T-perm, but you could also do the A-perm. So I'm going to go over both of these because some beginners don't know the T-perm. So what you do, if you hold the headlights in back, and this is the A-perm, just you can skip ahead if you don't want to watch me talk about the A-perm. But so all you have to do is just treat it like a 3x3. So this would be your F face, this would be your U face, this would be your R face, L face, and B face, although you don't use it, and D face. So, and this would be your M prime and stuff, and these would be your layers, but we don't need those. So you'd see right here, you'd have headlights. Now I already have headlights, but just for the sake of this, I'm going to show you. So you'd hold the headlights in back for the A-perm, and then you just put this behind, and then you do R prime, U, R prime, and then move not this layer as D, because that won't do anything. You want to move this layer as D, D2, and then R, U prime, R prime, and this layer as D again, D2. You don't want to move this layer, and then R2, and that would give you all headlights if you had headlights in the back. Now, for the T-perm, it's basically the same, except you do it with the T-perm. So R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R2, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. And that would give you headlights if you hold the headlights on the left. Now, you only need two algorithms for the edges, but there's also a parity algorithm that will also help. So, here's how I solve it. If you know how to solve a 3x3x2, then you can solve this. So all you need to do is find a diagonal swap. So you want to get opposite colors. So then you'd see if blue goes here and yellow goes here, yellow will be solved and opposite colors will need to be swapped. So we want to bring that in the front like you're doing a Z-perm and just do this algorithm. R2, U, R2, U, R2, U2, R2, U2, R2, U, R2, U prime, R2. Now that algorithm is actually really easy to memorize if you just think about it as R and only do R2s. And if you just think RU, do that twice, RU2, do that twice, and then the rest is pretty much just matching it up. So now as you see, that has swapped this edge pair and this edge pair, or depending on the way you look at it, this edge pair and this edge pair. But these two edges, you can fix that. So if you have two edges swapped and you had to do the Z-perm like algorithm where these two bars are swapped, you can do this. R2, U2, R2, U2, R2, U2. See, I said the algorithms were easy. It's just R2, U2 until it's solved. Now, if you don't have these edges swapped and you just have it where two edges are swapped, so it's a parity, all you have to do is the same algorithm except the R2 is an R and there's more. So R, U2, R, U2, R, U2, R, U2, R, U2. And see, it's solved if you just keep doing R and U2. So see, R, U2, R, U2, R, U2, R, U2, R, U2. So now that you've solved your the X cube, you can impress your cuber friends that can't solve it. And this cube I really like. It's one of my favorite puzzles to solve, and I hope this tutorial helped. Also, if you're having any problem solving this, please just leave a comment on the video or contact me in another way, and I will make a more in-depth video about your problem. So, most things about this cube are fairly easy, so you shouldn't have any problems, but if you do, please feel free to contact me. Thanks, this has been Austin from Parity Cubes.